Hi everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you from California, 5 p.m. Pacific time this Wednesday, August 5th, to talk about U.S. immigration law. It's our regular Q&A session, taking your questions and answering them for educational purposes, not case-specific advice about U.S. immigration every Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific through to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're here on Monday through Thursday, every Monday through Thursday on TikTok app. Immigration Lawyer John is the handle. And on Wednesdays, if you're watching on YouTube, it's JQK Law Firm's live YouTube page. But the recording of this is put on YouTube itself. So if you like, subscribe, and press that bell to get the latest updates for recordings of these daily videos, along with tons of clips and long-form explanations of the U.S. immigration process and much more, along with the other social media apps where you'll get stuff, samples of the approval notices, and a lot more. And Finally, if you're interested in getting married, getting a green card, or fiancé visa, the best thing you can do is go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook free. It's the ultimate book that discusses the marriage green card process free, that really breaks down the process in an more easily digestible way. It's like 30 or 40 pages, something like that, with some appendixes of stuff that's going to help you and prepare you for the process. And then once you've read that, you can consult with an attorney, get a better understanding of what's going on. But I think that ebook right there is going to do a lot of help. And with that, let's get it started. Okay, so thank you to everyone for joining on YouTube. It's our weekly live video on YouTube, but here every day on TikTok. And thank you for the crew. A lot of regulars coming on board. Good to see you again to join us to talk about immigration and all sorts of other stuff that come up. You know, a lot of things pop up in this world we live in, especially because it's such an international operation. The immigration system has some good news. Good news for once, thanks to a federal court. Hi, Ross. I'm doing good. The public charge rule has an injunction, which means if you're applying for a green card, especially in the U.S. or the embassy, if you have an embassy interview, they're not going to get into that stuff. So it's a very powerful thing to take advantage of, and that's what we're doing. We're filing as many cases as possible. I filed one yesterday. Going to file 2 more, 3 more this week just to get it in. Now I have a couple of cases where the foreign person has like a lot of education, makes a lot of money, has a lot of money, all that kind of stuff. So we're not in as much of a rush. But it's those cases where we don't know how they're going to handle it, if they're going to be difficult about it. We want to be extra careful and just get it in sooner to avoid problems that could pop up in the way they're going to adjudicate these public support issues. Monterey asks, I got a co-sponsor for my Affidavit of Support. If interview doesn't take place in 2019, can I switch? Let me see what's going on. My sponsor. If you need to switch your sponsor, you could always do that. It's not typical something that happens. I'd imagine they would withdraw. You would send a new one and withdraw the old one. With USCIS, it's kind of messy. So I never done it before, but it's sort of messy. You can maybe do it at the interview, or probably mail it in and bring it to the interview. Just have a properly completed Form I-864. Ideally, you don't want to do that. It's just going to cause confusion in the case, but that may be possible. I haven't done it before, so I can't say for sure. But that's my initial impression of what I would do. RM says, is it okay to have the address on your ID as different than your mailing address while applying for Form N-400? Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people don't update their address on their driver's licenses. Now, we get these officers sometimes. Most of them are cool, all right, they do their job right. But some of them are nitpicky about certain things. They might make a big deal about that. But in these kind of situations, I always tell clients, just, talk to them. Say, listen, I updated my DMV address in the system, but, I have to pay extra $25 to get a new card. Now, I don't want to pay extra $25, so it is what it is. And show other documentation where you live. They rarely go into it, but if it comes out, just explain it to them. That's all it is. Like I have one client who intentionally doesn't change their address because they have people that are trying to harm them. So they're kind of in hiding. And that's going to be a complex thing we have to explain. It's a different kind of case, but they don't have anything at their address. They have an address in another state. So that's even weirder. But we're going to explain, these people are afraid for their lives, so they have to try to hide themselves that way. But again, it's just about telling the officer so they're not hiding anything, and to avoid any problems from coming, because the worst thing is misrepresentation or fraud. You don't want to get that. It's hard to fix that, so you want to always avoid getting something like that. Bilal says, I've heard the news that I-94 we don't have to submit. Yeah, I just talked about that when we started. Bilal, the I-94 right now you don't have to submit. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's the thing. I do these videos and then the next day things change, but right now that's the situation. Riosa says, I got my green card now. We are thinking about applying for citizenship, how much time it takes for the process. The timing of it varies. I don't get into timing of individual cases. Raj says, how can we reach you, sir? Well, just send me an email, info@jqqlaw.com, info@jqqlaw.com. That's my email. Describe the immigration issue that you have, and then we can take it from there. AK on YouTube asks, my spouse hired a teacher to teach her at home, but she doesn't have any certification to prove that she's educated. Will that affect her on the public charge? I mean, the public charge is on hold, but it's more complex than that, AK. She needs to be able to handle herself, maybe take a TOEFL test, certification, or be able to talk to the officer in English, get them comfortable. But we have to see how that's all going to work out. That's too case specific. Okay, Prince Up says, what is VAWA visa for men too? Okay, VAWA is a rule they passed. It was called the Violence Against Women's Act. And part of it says that if you're abused with your relationship with the U.S. person, that you could apply for a green card. And it's a really powerful way to get a green card because it overcomes a lot of issues. But when they call it Violence Against Women's Act, it also includes men. It's pretty sexist title to put on it, and especially surprising under the current circumstances where people are very sensitive about these kind of things. But it includes men or women, just if it's about the spousal relationship, that's problematic. It's not a type of case I handle, so I'm not a specialist on that, but you know, that's something that pops up every once in a while, frequently enough, unfortunately. Ali Sheikh says, we got a green card since 3 years now. Now petitioner said he will revoke. Is it possible? No. Once you got the green card, the petitioner can't do anything. So that's ridiculous. You got the green card, it's yours. You know, there's other ways it can be revoked. Now, if they say you're doing drugs or something like that, that's not going to be good. But they have to prove that too. You can't just accuse somebody of doing drugs. Abdullah says, I applied for my citizenship 6 months ago and I didn't receive my appointment for fingerprints. Yeah, you just need to wait. They shut those down temporarily because of COVID-19. Let's see. I mean, a lot of this stuff's on the internet, but you can catch it there. The whole situation is the biometrics appointments are starting now. Interesting. I'll give you some news. I had a case I filed for their adjustment of status based on marriage on like February 20th or something like that. They got an interview, a schedule notice through their fingerprints about months later, but 1 month later. But because of COVID-19, they got a notice that don't come. We'll let you know when we're going to do the biometrics appointments next. So months go by. February, March, April, May, June, July. You know, at the beginning of August, 5.5 months or so, if I did my math right, and we just got notice that their work permit is approved. So work permit and advanced parole trial permission, EAD and AP, were both approved without biometrics for a marriage green card case after 5 months. So I thought I'd share that information. It's just how it's working right now. Now, so, you know, things are happening, so people are worried about the biometrics. They let it slide sometimes. Now, at the same time that I filed that one case, I filed 4 other cases. I filed these all at the same time to beat the deadline for the public charge rule. But the other 4 cases haven't gotten anything. So that's the thing. You know, people ask me how long things take. Well, this one case, they got the work permit 5.5 months. The other one's nothing. We haven't heard anything about them. So, and I filed 3 or 4 before that, hasn't had anything too. So that's why these timelines are really inconsistent. But I thought I'd share with you that case got approved without biometrics. On YouTube, AK follows up. For a conditional relative 1 case, does the marriage count from when you first got married, when you first thought you have 30? Filed your I-130. The marriage is for calculating the 2-year timeline to see if you're going to get a conditional green card. It's based on the date of marriage and then how long the date of issuance of the green card is. If a green card is issued within 2 years of marriage, it's going to be a conditional marriage. Alicia asks, is it necessary to update address with USCIS for green card, or can we continue? If you're not a U.S. citizen, you have to 100% always update your address with the U.S. immigration system, because it's very important they have this. If something happens where they have to notify you of issues, for example, they sometimes may need to tell you got to go to immigration court, we're going to put you in deportation removal. And if you don't get that notice, you don't appear, you get what's called an in absentia removal order. So if they get you, they're going to kick you out for missing your court date. So that's why unless you're a U.S. citizen, you 100% of the time, I'll have to say 99% of the time, 100% of the time you have to update your address even if you have a green card. It's done pretty easily through the online form AR-11. AR-11. That's the place to go to update your address online if you have a green card holder. So 100% do that. Don't forget it. A lot of people do. There's fines for not doing it. They don't enforce it, but it's very serious, very, very serious. Now, most people don't do it. They don't even know they're supposed to do it, but it's very, very serious and you should do it. Abir says, is there any time limit for USCIS to give their decision after marriage-based green card review? No, they don't have any internal time limits. They could take as long as they want. It's up to you how much you want to push back or sue or whatever. Diapunk says Raptors in 6. Maybe I haven't been following basketball. Mr. Sarkar says, I'm in a J1 visa, just got married this May and about to file for adjustment of status. Will it affect by any chance? I don't know. That's too case specific. We got to see if you have a J1 2-year home residency requirement or not. We have to see your finances. We have to see a lot of your background. Well, you're getting married. Well, congratulations on getting married, first of all. That's wonderful. I would say the first thing you need to do is go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the ebook. It's going to email you. Once you put your information in, it'll send you an email with the ebook. Read that ebook, get an understanding of what's going on in the process, and then schedule a time with my office or any other office or offices, whatever you want to do. But read that, that'll give you an understanding of what adjustment of status is in a reliable source there. But there's your kind of case, you got to review your visa and a lot of other things first before you could make a decision to move forward. You're welcome, Abir Khan. You're welcome. Ms. Sarkar has no condition for me for 2 years. I don't know. I don't remember what your question was, but I don't know. You got to put all your questions in one line or else I'll lose track of things. But yeah, the ebook is really helpful. I was reviewing it again today. Even if you don't have a marriage green card case, it talks about adjustment of status and what you need, so it does help out a lot there. I mean, the ebook, I could just take out the first 2 chapters and it becomes a regular ebook for anybody filing for a green card, because the main thing is differences. This talks about the I-130 for spouse as opposed to I-130 for other family members. So if I change 2 pages on it, it's going to be a general ultimate green card ebook. I should probably just do that and it won't get it. So I probably should change it up and have that. That might not be a bad idea. But thank you for joining, who's coming in. If you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube, especially on TikTok. There's a lot of craziness going on TikTok. You can catch me more on my YouTube page, JQK Law Firm's YouTube page, and get information there that can help you. And then always reach out, leave a comment or reach out to my firm if you had more immigration questions. So, the world of immigration is a topsy-turvy place. The president just issued another proclamation where he said we're going to look at government agencies or the contractors the government uses and see if they're using foreign workers, or for example H-1B workers, and then we're going to analyze whether we're going to continue work with them. But the reality is all the major tech companies use H-1B, and all the major tech companies are intertwined in working with the US federal government in some form or fashion. So what are you going to do? Get rid of Microsoft, get rid of Amazon, get rid of Apple? That doesn't make any sense. So it might just be a feel-good thing that they did, and it's probably going to hurt smaller businesses that are not as powerful, but the big ones, as always, make the way. God Lovely says, question, my case is on hold because of my fingerprint records from Mexico. All offices are closed. Yeah, unless you get the police records, your case is going to be on hold. Hopefully it doesn't, I don't know what's going on. What can you do? I don't know. I have to see your case and see what's going on. Well, it depends on whether you're doing consular processing or not. If you're in the United States, there's a deadline for assuming those, so you're going to get denied. That's terrible. But if it was a consular processing issue, first of all, if you need to go to Mexico for consular processing, that's going to be a delay anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But what I'm doing, like for example, I've had issues with Canada for getting police certificates there. They're really delayed. So in those kind of cases, I just told the National Visa Center, I said, hey, in a letter I wrote them on SEAC, I said, right now it's taking forever to get this. We have everything else ready. Please let me submit this, accept it, and my client will bring the police certificate, as you call it, the fingerprint report, which is a police certificate, I imagine was what you're saying. And they said, okay. So I have 2 Canadian cases right now. Not even Canadian, people who live in Canada. It's actually England and Russia. But NBC said, okay, just bring the rest for you. We understand because COVID-19 things are backed up. So that worked. So it might work in your case, it might not. I don't know. We had a question on YouTube that asked, would you submit a new DACA application? Technically they're not going to accept new DACA applications right now. If you really want to risk it, you can file and they'll have your information. And the reason you do that is if there's a lawsuit later on, you can be a plaintiff on it and try to push it in. But it's a risky endeavor. First of all, most likely they're not going to accept it. You might even lose filing fees for some form or fashion. It'll cost you. But it's a personal decision whether I would do it or not. It's not up to me. It's up to you whether you want to do it and the risk that you want to entail and incur. So definitely consult an immigration in private if you want to take that risk and if it's worth it for you or not. Eric asks, I had my work permit since 2010. How long before I can apply for a green card? A work permit gives you no access to a green card. Work permit is just a work permit. A green card is a completely different thing that you have to independently apply for and get. So that there's nothing you could do with your work permit, unless it's a very rare kind of work permit that's some sort of exception. I don't know, like a U visa kind of thing. User 407 says, which state you're living in? I want to visit your office. Well, I don't do in-person appointments anymore. Those are over even after COVID-19. So if you want to have a consultation, you have to email my office directly. We do a video consultation. I'm not seeing anybody in person other than my family and maybe friends in the future. That's about it. So that's why we have these cameras here. That's how we do this recording. So I can reach out so everyone can see me, see my personality, who I am. But all the interviews, all consultations are going to be done by video. I'm still going to appointments right now with USCIS for interviews. I just went to one for citizenship. I got a couple of marriage cases that will probably come up next month. But slowly I'm going to phase that out. Maybe have a colleague take that part and just work on strategy with people. And I do a lot of consulting with other immigration attorneys as well, but no in-person appointments. It makes life much easier this way. Let's see. Usman says, green card renewal pending, no proof available. Can I still apply for N400? Yeah, you can file for N400. I mean, do you not even have your original green card? That might be an issue, but you can file for N400 with an expired green card. Laxman says, I want to bring my wife to the United States. I filed a petition for her, but process is on hold. Why is it on hold, Laxman? You need to consult the immigration attorney to see why the process is on hold, and also check out the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook. Go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Download that, and maybe it'll help you out a little bit. On YouTube, Scotty says, could you give some advice to me, to my friend, Jersey boy? He spent all his charity money on something else. Yeah, first of all, I see you have Che Guevara on there. Put your own face on there. Don't be ashamed of who you are. And just, you know, study, read some stuff, make some money, and that's the best advice I give you. Emerit says, when you ask for the record but nothing comes out, why? When you ask for the record, your question's not clear. What record? What did you ask? Who did you ask? It's not clear what you're saying. Ask for the record when nothing comes out, why? Erica says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Okay, so how low are we on 5th? So we have some little time left. Yeah, so that's the situation with these kind of things. You have to, first of all, the questions you got to be really clear on. It's not clear what you're talking about. But going back to cases on hold, there's this really massive misunderstanding of the immigration system that immigration has stopped. The immigration interviews have stopped, but almost large chunks have already opened. That's why you don't want to delay your case by not submitting it or starting the petition or the application, because there's a long line building and you're just going to get a later place in line. That's all that's going to happen. It's going to even postpone your stuff even more. I've been submitting stuff with USCIS nonstop since this all happened, so you got to keep an eye on that. Uprising says, can you get an LLC while being undocumented when starting a business? Well, you know, the LLC is a filing with the local state, and they don't ask about immigration there. Now, later on, for immigration purposes, it could be, I don't want to go too much status without looking at your individual case, give individual advice, but generally, an LLC is not related to immigration. People could get it for me, yeah. Abdullah Shah says, you heard what happened in Lebanon? Yeah, terrible situation. People from Lebanon just constantly getting hit. You know, it's a beautiful place, beautiful people, rich culture, but they just can't get a break. It's pretty horrible. So my heart goes out to people from Lebanon. Actually, I've had consults with people from there over the years, and people doing marriage cases. So hopefully they're okay. A lot of Syrians are over there right now. A lot of people who live a war-torn life. Really, it's a sad situation, and it's like, what are they thinking storing that much explosives in one place? What's going on? You know, I mean, people are they thinking or is what? But that's, you know, a situation everywhere. You know, people always think there's a big dad out there that's going to protect it from stuff, but just a lot of incompetence around us. We're just really lucky that this whole place doesn't go up in smoke sometimes. But that's life right there. Shakla says, can I go to Australia with a green card for tourism or visiting family members while they issue me visa? I don't know. I'm not an Australian immigration attorney. I mean, if you have a green card, I mean, you can do what you want to do, but Australia has to issue a visa. It's not will they issue. I don't know what you're talking about, Shakrullah. Go contact an immigration attorney from Australia. Alua says, can you file for citizenship without your green card? And Lola asks, how long does VAWA take? I don't talk about timelines, so I can't answer you on that. But with regards to filing for citizenship, I mean, they ask for a proof of ID. I think they ask for the green card. So we always have a green card. I can't remember the exact rule if you don't have your green card in general. For example, you lost it. I can't remember what the rule for that is. Oh, actually, you should file a renewal probably. I think it was the rule. You have to file at least a renewal and send a receipt that you renewed it if you don't have an original. I think that's what it was. You got to check the instructions for it, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, you should. If it's just expired, yeah, you can file for citizenship. That's fine. User 47 asks, husband is citizen. Can he sponsor my family on visitor visa? Family is Pakistan. So I answer this every time, but there's just so much misunderstanding about this. If you go to my YouTube page, I have a breakdown of the top, top 10 tips or top 7 tips about getting tourist visas. But the short of it is, you apply for your own tourist visa. If you're a foreign person, you apply for a tourist visa for yourself. It's not that your husband files it or someone else. If you want a tourist visa, you contact the State Department and ask for it. And there's no one that's going to sponsor you for it. That's just mistaken information. User 237 says, my case is in administrative processing in the U.S. Embassy after I completed everything for my wife and son. Yeah, just gotta wait right now, especially not doing anything with the closures that are happening. But if it's been too long, you try filing a lawsuit. But under the current circumstances, with the immigration department kind of closing shop, not closing, the embassies kind of closing and not issuing stuff. Maybe if you're a U.S. citizen, they have an exception. It depends on which embassy there is. What it really is if you have a situation like this, you should have consulted an attorney a long time ago. But you need to have a review of your case to see what's going on. There are too many little factors that can affect stuff that it's not a proper forum for us to discuss it here. All right, we got a question on YouTube, I think. No, it's just, let's see. My call says, waiting for my interview appointment at Mumbai since February. We've been married since more than 3 years. Our immigration gets F2A visa India, and we are waiting for what should we do. You just have to wait for them to call you in. That's it. But if you know you've been waiting for more than 2 years, luckily you're going to get a 10-year green card, a permanent green card instead of a conditional one. But what are you going to do? You just got to wait, and if the embassy opens up, they'll call you in. You file a lawsuit. F2A is subject to the travel ban, so actually you're going to have to wait a long time more. Hopefully your petitioner, your spouse in the U.S. filed for citizenship, so all of a sudden you become under the immediate relative category, and you can overcome the travel ban. But as an F2A, you're subject to the immigrant visa travel ban. So even if the embassy was open and they saw you for an interview, they still would not be able to issue the visa, unfortunately, unless you fall within one of the exceptions. You have some sort of your nurse or your doctor or something like that. But it's a terrible situation to be in. I'm sorry, I have to wait. Sharks that follows up. I know that I know they not issue me visa for my nationality. I mean, does my green card help me to visit Australia? No, green card helps you to visit Canada, but not really. It's that foreign, I don't know, it's foreign immigration. I'm not an Australian immigration attorney. I can't answer questions related to Australian immigration. Emirates says, if immigration stopped you when you entered, if you want to check the record but nothing comes out. Well, what about it? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes the records don't pop up, but maybe they're there and they don't give it to you. Who knows? If you did fingerprinting, that's going to be worrisome. If you showed ID and stuff like that. But if they stopped you, let you go, and you still came in again, then you're subject to a permanent bar. There's risks involved. So this is really a situation you need to talk to a lawyer. Sometimes they just don't give you the records when they have it or they can't find it, but it doesn't mean you're not in the system. All right, next question. Lakshmi says, USCIS website says my petition is processing. What's wait time maximum? There is no wait time maximum. There's no max to how long you can wait. Valora says, I applied for asylum. I got received 4 months ago before. When will I get a social security number work permit, sir? Well, you have to file for a work permit social security number. They're changing the rules on that and how long you can apply for it. That's constant state of flux, but hopefully you have an immigration lawyer that helped you with your asylum case. You'd ask them about that, but 4 months is too soon. It'll be a long time. Yeah, at least many more months before you'll be able to do anything. All right, so yeah, so the things are changing. I did a podcast on this. It's pretty technical, but they're going to be seriously changing the rules for U.S. asylum. And so I did an interview with a clinic. It's an organization that's a pro bono organization that helps people in the immigration sphere. And one of their attorneys wrote a response, a detailed 100-page response to the proposed changes to the asylum rules and submitted it to the government. Her name was Victoria Nielsen, managing attorney of a section of clinic. And I did an interview. So if you go to immigrationlawyerspodcast.com and watch the interview with Victoria Nielsen, it discusses what the proposed changes are and how strict they are and how damaging it is to the existing asylum program they have in the United States. You should check it out. It's very, very interesting. And it's, even though we talk for half an hour, it doesn't fully cover what is going on in the immigration space, but it'll give you some basic understanding of the changes, which includes the work permit minimum time you have to wait to file a change. It's pretty strong. Sam asks, hi, my case status update to no one appeared in face-to-face interview without any interview notice. Ooh, that's terrible. That means you got a denial. It's a mess. So you got to contact them as soon as possible. Hopefully you have a lawyer. If not, contact congressperson, contact the actual local office. Do whatever you can to let them know that and call the 1-800 number to let them know I never received an interview notice. If I did, I would have come. I'm not crazy. You have to make sure you had updated your address if you move. That could hurt you. But if they deny your case for no show, for not appearing, it's very serious. So, you contact them, mail them, contact your congressperson, maybe the ombudsman even. You kick and shout and scream, maybe file a lawsuit or something, because the consequences, depending on the type of case you have, are very severe. So that's what you should consult with a lawyer. Really, you shouldn't come on a show like this. You should consult with an attorney one-on-one in person, not me, at least by video, and at least talk to several people, see what they have to do, because you're in a really bad situation that you need to deal with really quickly. Mayank says, thank you, respected sir, for your precious answer. I heartfully appreciate it and thanking you. Thank you, Mayank. What an interesting and pretty name, Mayank. Thank you so much. Let's see. Yeah, so what happens is when people have these issues with USCIS, timing of the essence, even with the embassies, once they make a decision, you got to move really fast, or time goes by. They send your case to the next person over to deny it, or just send it to immigration court. Then the consequences and the timelines go out of whack. They're just going to wait forever and have really serious stuff. Ali Kazemi says, how are you? I'm doing good, doing good. It was a good day. I was playing with my kid earlier. I have a lot of material coming up. I had a lot of cases I do over the weekend. I was stressing out because I wanted to get them done. And last night I caught up, and so I'm kind of relieved. And both my kids slept all night, so I got to sleep all night. So I'm doing pretty good, actually. I was stressed. I haven't slept in a while because of the kids. And then this public charge rule putting on hold, it was a mad dash to file a lot of different cases. So I'm just like crazy, like get these cases, emails, this and that. And another big problem is happening is a lot of students coming into the United States right now to study are having a lot of difficulties with the immigration system because of that proposed rule that the U.S. Immigration Administration had changed, but they changed back because they got lawsuits. Essentially, they said if you're going to a university here that's doing online courses, you can't re-enter the United States to do that. And if you're here, you have to leave. Well, they did that about a week or two, and then people sued and they pulled back on that. But what we're seeing is a lot of officers, especially at the airports, still think that's the rule. So I'm getting a lot of students, and I work with a lot of students at local universities here in Southern California and Los Angeles, and I'm getting calls and I'm helping them deal with this situation from the various ports that they're coming in, where they're taken to a second room and question about stuff and threatened and all this kind of stuff. By threats, I mean of removal, deportation for taking online courses, and also some are being returned to their home country unjustly, incorrectly. So I'm getting, between the public charge and all these student visa stuff, I'm getting hammered with a lot of questions. So it's been stressful, but I've helped a lot of people. I mean, this has been a big time where I've helped a lot of people overcome issues, come back to the U.S., finish your studies. Imagine you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're on your last semester at a top university. You come to the airport and they send you back to your home country mistakenly. And you're freaking out. But we're working behind the scenes with the ports to try to fix this area, get the visas reissued. Because the problem is they need to go to the embassy to get a new visa, but the embassies are closed. They can't even get a new visa, and school starts in 3 weeks. So, I mean, it's an online course. They can still study from their home country, but, they have a dorm here. There's an atmosphere with their colleagues, with students they could work with. They don't want to do that, and it makes sense. They paid all this money, and they should be coming. The ICE rule was kind of ridiculous. So we're helping them overcome that, and so it's a lot of students whose lives are changing. So I love it. It's very good stuff. Shawzi says, hi, I had an interview last year in September, and they asked me in my case in administrative processing. Unfortunately, that's it. You just gotta wait or sue. I don't know. Now it shows refuse. What should I do? That refusal was a tactical situation that the State Department did to change the name of administrative processing to refusal. I have to see what happened to your individual case. I can't tell you exactly if your case has an issue or not, what refusal means under your circumstances. But under many circumstances, about, I don't know, 3 months ago or so, they changed the name for administrative processing when you check your case on the website for the State Department to refusal, and it scared the hell out of a lot of people. But apparently what we know is a tactical decision for the lawsuits that are happening against them, and so that's where that comes from. Alex Sam says, sir, any update if we apply for a marriage case, approximately how much time to get a social and green card? No, you go get it when you're going to get it. All right, so I'll take one more question if you have it. If not, we're going to end it for today. Tomorrow, I'll be back, as always, on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. John is John. And on Instagram, JQK Law Firm's Instagram page, along with the YouTube page where the recording of this is going to be, along with clips of the main things I talk about. So our last question, Mao asked, USCIS wrote on its page that they're going back to Bill Clinton public charge, 1990 public charge. Yeah, we talked about this a lot right now already. Essentially, they're putting the injunction. They stopped the current version of the public charge run of President Trump until things change or until another court says another decision, and that's why we're filing a lot of cases to avoid the Form I-944. Vanessa asks, hi, I'm new to the channel. Can I apply for my mom green card? Well, I do a lot of videos on this, and you're watching on YouTube. Just check my video history. A U.S. citizen can apply. We got to listen to what I'm saying. You can apply. Now, whether your mom will get it, I don't know. But if you're a U.S. citizen, you can apply for your mother, but not a green card holder. So what you have to do is, schedule a consultation in my office. We could talk about it. info@jqqlaw.com, and we take it from there. Rao says I-944 still applies to applications which are submitted before June. No, they said is if you're filed after June 29th, that's when the new public charge injunction applies. I'm sure a lot of people are going to go back and forth, but that's that. And the quick question, are you a singer? All right, asked. Well, I did sing a lot. Unfortunately, because I spent all my free time talking about immigration law and all that kind of stuff, I don't get a chance to sing. Unfortunately, I play the guitar, which I do. And Yvette said DACA updates. Yvette, I did do a DACA update, but unfortunately, at the end of the show, definitely catch us tomorrow and come back. And the rest of the questions as well. 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, and on Instagram, JQK Law Firm. Until then, God bless everybody. Thanks again for coming, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.